Hey everybody, quick update on AMC, the movie theater stock. Just keep in mind, as usual, as I always say, I'm not a financial advisor. Everything I'm sharing is my own opinion. It's my own research, and I highly encourage you guys to go do your own research as well. So let's go ahead and dive right on into this. It's going to be a very quick video. So you got AMC's price movement. It went up 8.77% on the day. Absolutely amazing. Over 100 million in volume, actually hitting 126 million. And the RSI pushing closer towards that over bot territory, but once again, you look at that, it's relative strength index, so we're not too worried about that. But volume in comparison to the previous 15 minutes, because this is what we are looking at, by the way, is on the 15-minute chart, just absolutely shot up right there towards the end. A lot of people are really hyped up about what is taking place with these new regulations. I'm going to give you guys a little bit more details on that in just a second. In the aftermarket here, we're actually seeing it at $47.65. So the daily closeout, $47.13. As of the time I'm making this video, over 50-cent increase already. Taking a look at the daily here, just pulling back a little bit, you can see for the last week or so, the volume itself has been kicking up quite well. A lot of people have been speculating, looking at the just simple technical analysis perspective view on this, that we are at a position where even without the actual squeeze, just a simple technical fundamental analysis suggests that we are likely to see this be pushing up to around $250 or so on a high. And I mentioned that in yesterday's video. You guys can go check that out if you want. Take a look at other information we have here. 150,000 shares available to borrow, 4.4 million ETF shares available to borrow. This is according to Stonko Tracker. Just keep in mind it doesn't pull in all the data, but at least we have something to work off of here. And then this is something that I found just to be absolutely bizarre. They still have not updated their trading pool for the dark pool since August 25th. So today is the 31st. So they could have reported it yesterday. They could have reported it for Friday. They could have reported it for Thursday. And none of that information is actually being pulled up and documented here. But we're seeing people doing reports that are posting things across Reddit. A lot of upvotes. A lot of people seem to be referencing it. We're seeing right around 70% or so the last several key days of trading across the dark pool. So it's, why is this not getting updated? That's a really good question. I'm not sure the answer on. Maybe you guys know and you can tell us in the comments. Looking at the dark pool data over here, negative 25 million shares. And then we got for position almost $1 billion. That's negative 984 billion for that position. Just really bizarre, crazy stuff. This, as I mentioned also in a previous video, the rolling 20-day position is starting to show an inverse pulling up across the top right there. Looks like it's pulled down a little bit, but there's a strong chance we're going to see an upsurge with that in the inclusion of everything else that's going on. This also mentioned over here, 1.19 trillion reverse repo, new record, 15th trillion in a row. Boobs are jacked, right? This is what a lot of people keep saying. So just kind of in short, I'm going to go ahead and scroll on down here. This was a little back and forth in case you guys were wondering about this. So one person said a reverse repo is essentially the government removing liquidity from banks. This in turn makes it easier to become margin called, ? Am I on the right track? So somebody else responded, they said, well, sorta. It's banks and institutions selling cash and equivalents to the Fed in exchange for bonds and notes so that the assets don't lose value to inflation. These are just overnight, however, and not cumulative. I believe it will also be far less once the new rules go into effect, limiting the types of assets they will take either tomorrow or later this week. What's going on in trends right now is the AMC search volume is starting to kick up a little bit more here. So, you got these massive spikes, obviously, that occur from time to time. And it's looking like we're starting to go back towards that direction, especially with all these new regulations. It makes sense that more people are talking, more people are keeping their eyes on it, more people want to see what happens. And so we got a couple things that are coming up here. First off, let's go and talk about UMR Phase 5. So UMR's requirements for posting initial and variation margin and mandatory central clearing of OTC derivatives are raising margin call volume and the amount of collateral required substantially. Furthermore, UMR mandates that IM be posted by both counterparties to each other and this two-way margining be held in segregated account structures. Phase 1 to 4 covered banks, but Phase 5 and 6 will predominantly impact funds and institutional investors. When these phases take effect, they will put stress on buy-side operating models and introduce new costs and regulatory reporting requirements for these firms. That's absolutely awesome. Then we also have here, this is for effective September 1st. This is tomorrow. This is the DTCC, Fixed Income Clearing Corporation, right? So netting members that are in GCF net fund borrower positions in the GCF repo service are satisfying their collateral allocation obligations to FICC on GCF repo transactions with expiring securities and or trust receipts, i.e. promissory notes issued by a government securities enterprise. And these following identify U.S. Treasury securities 1 business day prior to maturity, eligible securities other than U.S. Treasury securities 4 calendar days prior to maturity, any trust receipts issued by a government securities enterprise. And then lastly, we have coming up here, this is for September 3rd, NSCC 005. The implementation is identified for 10 a.m. Eastern Time. That's going to be 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. NSCC is providing this notice to members of the implementation. And on this morning, the effective date, members with a fund deposit below $250,000 will incur a deficit that will require funding by 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Very exciting times, guys. The next several days going to be very interesting, especially going into next week. So there's potential on the table here to start seeing some major moves. A lot of rolling over into next week is also potential, and we just continue to wait and see. We know that the shorts haven't covered yet, so guess what? The squeeze is still on the table. Guys, if you want to get some free cryptocurrency or stock, there are links in the description. Feel free to check those out. It's free money for you guys. And also, if you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit subscribe. Hit the thumbs up like button. It does help us out with the YouTube search algorithm. And feel free to share this video on social media. Thank you guys so much for being here, and I'll see you in the next episode.